Alanna Vizzoni, welcome to Seeing Other People.
Hi, thank you. I'm so excited. I told Alanna when I walked in that I feel like she's someone I should have met. Like, I really feel like I knew you in like a weird way, like almost like someone from school that you knew of, but like you were never friends with, but like you feel like you should have been. That's how I feel about you.
No, I completely agree. Like, especially over the last year, as you've like gone through your journey, I've like wanted to reach out to you so badly,
Aw,
and
thank
I know
you.
that I should have, because like
No, it's
in my
okay.
mind, you're one of my like parasocial friends.
Yeah.
And when I had the idea to ask you to come on the podcast, I was like, I really hope she says yes. Because first of all, like I want to hear more of your story. I want to help share your story, but I also just want to hang out with you.
I felt it was like, oh yeah, I'm totally come on your pod. Like, of course.
We need a play date.
Yeah. It's so funny because background, like I used to obviously like that I used to do a podcast at Barstool Sports when I was young, 22, like a few months out of school. And so weird, but I don't remember who, and I was so young and it's kind of blurry, but someone from Hinge took us to lunch and she basically wanted us to work for Hinge.
It was definitely Molly.
Molly, yep. That was her name. And we were just kind of like, we just got to Barstool. It was so interesting, but we just like couldn't make the jump. So I always thought of you as like my almost coworker friend. Do you know what I mean? Because we almost were.
Here's the thing though, if you had taken the job, I probably wouldn't have had my job.
Oh, okay. That's actually more. And your name's Alanna. Yeah. Oh my God. That's so crazy. Because then I thought about it and I'm like, oh my God, if we had said yes, the butterfly effect that would have happened, like freaked me out. Like, and I took a gummy last night. So I think it actually made me spiral more. I was like, I would have never, because I met my fiance at work. I never would have broken up with my ex-boyfriend. Maybe I would have never dated my fiance. Like, where would it freaked me out. So like meeting you today like kind of triggered that, like, oh my God, when I was 22, like who would have known if I took the job at Hinge?
Yeah. And if you did and I didn't get that job, I don't know where I would be right now.
So
would not be in this apartment, would not be with Jake, would not have this
you
podcast.
Would have never podcasted.
Never.
Maybe.
Yeah.
So weird.
So wow. Oh my God.
So like we have an invisible string that's like crazy.
Yeah. No, I was telling Alanna a second ago, like my boss at the time always would say to me, like, we need you to find your Alanna, like for the content, for the podcast, like my like partner in crime.
Yeah.
So here we are.
I'm so excited.
I love it. Okay. So obviously we can talk about all that forever, but we're not going to. That is not what we're here to talk about. You, in the past few years, were diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yeah. Actually, last March. So yeah, I'm wearing a wig.
It's been a year.
Yeah.
Wow.
The like year anniversary, I guess, of when I found out was March 1st. And then my birthday was like 2 weeks after that, and it was a very emotional March, I will say. Like revisiting that, like, oh my God, it's been a year kind of moment. So yeah, what do you want to know about it? Anything.
Everything.
Yeah.
What was your life like right before you got diagnosed?
Oh my gosh. So I had just left Barstool a few months prior for a tech startup. I was like gonna do the like all in business, let's freaking do this, let's build a company thing, kind of switching out of content and media into like a more, tech and business savvy kind of career. And it was very hard and it was a lot. It was fashion tech, an app called Rodeo. I was living with my now fiance, then boyfriend, in Hoboken. We had just moved there from Battery Park. I was in amazing shape, super happy, super excited, amazing hair. And basically what happened was, which is super common with women our age, my fiance, Mike, found a lump in my breast, like while we were having sex. And you could imagine how fucking traumatizing that was. I was like, no. That's nothing. Yeah. Got up, went to the bathroom, and I'm like, wait, that is not symmetrical.
Right. Like I didn't know that was never there before.
Yeah. And like, I remember that moment of like, because like, I feel like usually you have certain like, you can feel your bones through. So you're like, oh no, that's nothing. When I felt that, I was like, ooh, it felt like a blueberry or a grape, like that kind of hardness where it's not totally hard like a bone, but kind of like a rubber ball. But I'm not even kidding. I don't think breast cancer crossed my mind really at that point. I mean, it wasn't even in the realm of possibility for me. Like,
also, like, when you're young and you're healthy, like, why would it cross your
no,
mind?
never. No family history, all of that. So I think, you know, he was like, you need to go get that checked. You need to go get that checked. I like maybe 2 months had passed, and I was like, you know what, I really should. And my gyno was like, I think she thought it was something called a fibroadenoma, which is just like a benign breast lump. But she goes like, if it bothers you, here's a prescription for an ultrasound. So again, I let another month or so go by. And all of a sudden, I swear to God, it was like a premonition. I like woke up in the middle of the night, like from a dream, and was like, holy shit, I have breast cancer. Like, I don't know. I can't really explain this feeling of like, something was telling me like it wasn't right. So the next day I went to get an ultrasound, and lo and behold, it was breast cancer. It was stage 2A breast cancer.
What does that mean? Like, at what point are you at in stage 2A?
Okay, so I was between 1 and 2. 2 basically means you have like just a lump, like a tumor. It hasn't spread. From my understanding, I think that's what it means. It's like 1 and 2. I was on the line of that because of the size of it. It was 2 centimeters. So it's hard because I'm trying to like say this in terms that is digestible, I guess, because it's like, so when I first found out,
what did it mean to you at
for
that
me,
point?
oh my God. Well, the day after they called me on a Friday evening, by the way, and were like, well, you could figure it out Monday. So I didn't know anything about cancer. Am I like,
what?
Truly, like, it's not something that I'm familiar with, like in my life, like, you know what I mean? Like, I've never seen someone go through it. So I like literally thought I was dying. Like, I'm trying to keep this upbeat because it's so heavy. You know what I mean? But that weekend was so scary. Like, I remember walking on the water on like the Hudson and literally thinking like, sorry, like, goodbye world. Like, it's been such a great life. Like, I didn't understand quite like how far medicine has come, first of all, but like what any of this meant. So in that day, the next day I had to go to my cousin's bridal shower, and like I kept that secret in, which was really hard. But my best friend, weirdly, from home, is BRCA positive, which I don't know if you know what that means, but it's a gene that makes you really susceptible to breast cancer, and specifically like an aggressive breast cancer. So she had just gone through a double mastectomy preventatively. So she was very familiar with all this. So she came over that night. I found out, my parents, my brothers, and we just like pounded like 10 bottles of wine.
Oh my God.
And she was kind of like this source of like, it's going to be okay. But at that time I still didn't get it. And it's hard to say like, oh, it's going to be okay. 'Cause it, you know, there's always a what if, but there's a what if with anything in life. And that's like kind of like what I've come to like think of when I start getting anxious about it, is like, you know, knock on wood, but I could get hit by a car when I'm leaving your apartment today. So like, that's the kind of world I have to live in now, with like, I don't to fast forward, I'm cancer free.
Incredible.
Yeah. So thank you. And like, you know, there's always like the what if it comes back. And like, if you talk to people that have been through cancer, they never really feel comfortable saying I'm cancer free, I'm cured, because you never know.
Right.
But no one ever knows anything.
No one ever knows.
So,
I could get cancer tomorrow. Like, I could find out tomorrow.
No,
that I
truly.
have it,
and like that,
and it might never come back for you.
Truly. And that's a scary place to live in your head, but it's also the reality of life. So just like being confronted with that at 20, it was between my 27th, it was like 2 weeks left of being 27 was when I found out. And I had the lump removed like 2 days before my 28th birthday. So I went through the lumpectomy to just remove it. And then they decided after my lumpectomy, even though they got all the cancer out, that they wanted me to do chemo, because it's just like an extra line of defense to get anything that might be, you know, sneaky in there. And that was actually devastating for me, like more than the initial diagnosis after I had met a doctor, and she talked me off the ledge, and she's like, you're sorry, I'm all over the place because this story is like, it's intense.
It's emotional.
Yes.
I'm sure like there were high highs, low lows, things that you're still not sure how you feel about.
Oh my God. I'm still processing it. Like I'm just getting out of it.
Yeah.
So basically when I found out on Friday, I saw the first doctor on Tuesday, and she was so calming and so great. And like, she's saying all this stuff. She gave me my diagnosis, blah, blah, blah. And like 10 minutes into the meeting, my fiance is like, so like, is she okay? And I was like, am I going to die? And she was like, she started cracking up, and she was like, no. And I was like, why didn't you lead with that?
The person who called you should have started with, you're going to live.
I know, because they don't realize it, that like, that's not common knowledge, right? Well, you know, so
it's not like you've done this a million times before.
Yeah, right. This is my first time. So that was like, then I was like, okay, I could do this. Like, I'll do the surgery, I'll get the mastectomy, whatever. But when they told me that they wanted me to do chemo, that was really hard, because I was like, whoa, this is like so real now. Yeah. This is so freaking real. And like 2 weeks ago, my biggest concern was that we were going to Italy in the summer, and like I need my hair to be super long and shiny, and I needed to lose 5 pounds. Mm-hmm. Suddenly I wasn't going to have hair anymore. Yeah. So that was like a huge, very strange thing to grapple with, was like, oh my God, like suddenly none of my problems mattered. And like, it was this weird moment for like a month or so where like I in the back of my head still couldn't let go of my minute problems while like dealing with this huge thing. Like I was trying to retrain my brain, almost like, you're not going to Italy, bitch. Like, you're going to be in chemo. Like, this is so real. Like, this is happening. I don't know how to explain that, but it was like such a weird moment. And just like the way I now function in life is like, nothing matters in a way where it's like, does it make me happy? Like, am I healthy? Am I surrounded by like good energy and good people, and like just things that are bringing me joy? That's like the only thing I worry about now. Like, when someone starts like giving me a hard time or something, like I don't entertain it. Like, I literally walk away. Like, I don't have time for it anymore.
Right.
So socially and just the way I interact with the world, I'm so much happier. Really.
That's an amazing side effect.
Yeah. Like it's like I don't have time for bullshit. Yeah. So, and even like small problems like aren't that big to me anymore. In a weird way, like and people will say this, and like they, you know, it's an annoying thing to say, but like it was like the best thing that happened to me in my ever, to like course correct just like who I am and the way I interact with other people. And like, I'm just so much more like empathetic, and like, well, you know, don't be too quick to judge, you know, because you don't know what's going on. Maybe it's because of this, and it's, yeah, I don't know. It's been a crazy year. So lost my hair, froze my eggs, chopped my boobs off, got fake ones.
And you're thriving.
I'm like, oh, got engaged. Yeah. I got engaged. Sorry, I'm talking so much because this is like, there's so much to say. This is like my favorite story, but like when I finished chemo, I wasn't done with treatment yet, but that was the huge milestone. Like chemo, like you're like stuck in the like a dark place in that like period of time that was like 3-4 months. Because it's like every other week, and right when you get the treatment and then you're sick for like a week, and then right when you start to feel better, it's time to go back in, and it's like this cycle of like.
What were the expectations versus reality of chemo? Like, what did nobody tell you about it that you then learned?
Weirdly, it was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life, but I did it, and like it wasn't as hard as I thought. In a weird way, like. It felt like, you know, just being sick. It was like being sick every other week, like having the flu kind of, which sucks. But I imagined this like unimaginable hellscape. But it was like a sick that I was familiar with, like a stomach flu, like just feeling so shitty. And once I realized that, I was like, oh, okay, I could do this. You know, like I was so scared because I was like, I can't imagine what this is like.
Right. It's like, am I going to feel like I'm dying all the time?
Yeah. It was just like, you know, you would go in and you'd be sick for 3, 4, 5 days. And then I had actually a great summer. I was out and about. I was at the Jersey Shore. Like I was, I needed things to look forward to. So my friends actually said that I was the one that was like, you know, making the plans and like, we're doing this weekend. Cause like I needed to look forward to something. And then all of a sudden it was done. And it was like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that.
No, I literally remember watching your video of like the ringing the bell day and your friend surprising you. And like, I probably watched that 30 times. And, like,
oh my
just
God,
cried.
I know. Because you know, like when you're in something so dark like that, I don't think you like, well, at least for me, I was just dissociating, and I was taking a lot of lorazepam, so that was helping. But like, like I was just like pounding that shit. But you know, like in the moment that it's done, it's like, oh my God, like I did this, I got through it, and like I'm gonna be okay. And I just like it was actually hard the time after, where it's like when you can actually stop and reflect and be like, what did I just go through? Yeah. And a lot of people said that like the year after is harder. And I actually am feeling that right now a little bit, like with any trauma, like you do what you can to get through it. And then when you are through it, you're kind of like left to pick up the pieces a bit and reflect on what happened. And like, you know, it's something, it's hard because I really have to do that by myself. Like, obviously people can hold my hand and be there for me.
Right. And you have an amazing support system.
Oh my God,
your
out
family,
of control. Yeah.
Mike,
my fiance,
your
Mike, is like, I can't even like find the words to describe like how amazing he's been. And it's truly a gift because, it's so sad, but like, there's like a crazy statistic that's like, 1 in 5 women that get sick get divorced. Wow. Like their husbands leave them. And like, you know, it's so awful that we went through this. But like, I know that like we are a couple that's equipped to do the hard shit in life. And like, I feel so comfortable marrying him now, knowing like the kind of man. No, I mean, no, me too. It's like, I get the gift of knowing like the type of man he is, like when it gets hard. Like it's so easy when we're young to fall in love and like, you know, we have such a fun life together, but you don't really know how someone is when like life happens. Like what's going to, like, you know, he's going to be there when my parents pass away, when his parents pass away, when, you know, if something awful happens, like knock on wood, you know, anything awful that happens, like, and you know, we have to be partners in that grief. And like, I know that we can do it now. Yeah. And it just makes me like, I don't know, feel like I have like a premonition into like our future. Like there's no questions about it, you know?
When you first found out, like obviously he was the one who was like, go get this checked out. Did you have any fears surrounding, you know, your relationship? Like, had you guys already started talking about future plans, like engagement timeline?
Yeah. So I didn't know we were going to get engaged that summer. Like I knew it was coming soon. There was never a question of like, you can leave if this is too much. Yeah. Like he was always, that wasn't even like a conversation that got brought up. Like it was never a question like that he was going anywhere. And like, I thought that we were going to take a little time to, after like I went through chemo and like treatment, that the engagement would come maybe this summer. But he proposed to me at my end of chemo party, which was absolutely like this like push I needed, because I was so depressed for like the 2 weeks after chemo. I was like, oh my God, like I have no hair. I like my boobs are about to be like chopped off. Like what is going on? Like I remember like scrolling on TikTok, and all the videos I saw of girls our age was like, oh, my highlights suck. Like I'm crying in my car because my highlights suck. Or like, you know, get ready with me for whatever. And I was like, I feel so in a different universe than everyone else. Like, I'm not like other girls. Like,
no, actually, you're a Victoria's Secret model.
Oh, yeah. So there's that. No, yeah. But I was like, I am just like an alien. Like, I am not even in the same like conversation as these people. Like, I don't have hair. Like,
well, and you also couldn't relate to the you before.
couldn't even remember me. Like, you know what I mean? And he so for my end of chemo party, we got like a boat down the shore. All my friends were coming. They were staying at my house. I was still very down, but trying to like be excited about this party. And he like surprised me, like proposed me on the beach. His family all came down, and the boat party was actually our engagement party. I didn't really know.
You planned your own engagement party.
Right. So that like plucked me into like, oh wait, life goes on, and like I'm gonna get those like special moments still. Like, I'm still gonna be a normal person. Like, my life will still be good. It was hard to imagine how my life would ever come back together. But after that, I just felt like, okay, like I could keep going. I still had to do radiation and stuff. And more recently, like I've left I tried to jump back into work, my really hard like startup job, and I thought that would kind of fix me to put me back into, you know, normal life. But I just like couldn't keep up. Like, I couldn't do the hustle culture, and like I didn't care.
Well, I feel like so often, and I talk to people about this all the time with work, you know, there's all these emergencies and fire alarms, and it's like, hey, we're not curing cancer here.
No, literally, like, I was like, sometimes I would like be like, how can these people like talk to me with this sense of urgency? Like I give a fuck. Cause like the email will be sent. Like, I promise. Like, it doesn't matter if it's now or in 45 minutes. It's going to be sent. Like, I'm not going to cry over it.
Yeah.
Like, and if you need someone to cry over it, like, I'm not that person right now. So I like, you know, have decided to just like kind of step away for a bit and like just relax and be. And like, it's actually something super common that people do. Like, a lot of my mentors are like, oh yeah, I think they called it like the third trimester or something like that. The aftermath of like, just because, you know, after like during treatment, I was like forced to rest.
Yeah.
Like, I had to rest. I didn't want to, but I had to. But now, like, I'm kind of choosing to, and that feels good.
And it's a different type of rest. It's not a rest where you feel nauseous and sick.
I'm like reconnecting with like the world and like what I love and like life. Like, I feel like, you know, I'm waking up, I'm just going on a walk, I'm going to the gym. It's only been like 2 weeks, but I'm so like, I'm like crawling back to myself, I feel, or like the new me. And it just is very like relaxing and like something I needed to do like really bad.
Yeah. Good. I'm glad that you're doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was hard to come to that conclusion and really like take that step. But I also imagine it's like the best thing for you, and you deserve to just be.
Just to be.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's gonna happen, but like, I don't know. I don't really care right now.
You don't need to know.
I don't need to know.
You don't need to care.
I'm just planning my wedding, so
that's a job in itself.
That's a job.
That is. What were some things that people, whether it was people in your life, people online, said to you throughout your treatment and this journey that either felt really good or felt really bad?
Okay, so the number one thing that you should never, ever, ever say to someone that gets cancer is, oh my God, like, I'm so sorry. Like, my aunt had cancer, but she died. Like,
why would anyone?
I don't know. Like, I'm actively trying not to die, so like, fuck your aunt. No, I'm just kidding. But
no, like, why? Who would think to say that?
I don't know. I think it's like an attempt to connect and be like, I see you.
I understand what you're going through.
But like, you don't. And comments like that are like, they're so triggering because every day I'm trying to not be scared of dying. Like, and just like planting a seed like that is just, it causes like actually like a spiral. Like, in my, you know, like I could start my day great and then hear someone says that to me and like, I'll end the night like in the fetal position crying. Like I'm not even kidding. And like it's not just me saying that. That's like a common thing that people talk about in like the cancer community. That those comments are like they're just so like tone deaf, really. Because cancer affects, so like we've all been touched by it in some way, whether it's you're a patient or you're a loved one. And it's awful, but there's really no experience like being the person that's going through it. It's just like a different kind of grief.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even allow myself to think about how my diagnosis affects the people around me yet. Like, I can't even unpack that yet. That's what makes me want to cry. The amount of times I've had to be like, I can't be the one that you vent about this to, because that's like a whole weight that I can't carry. Yeah. Thinking about like my brother is going through their lives, like worrying about me, like, oh, my older sister has breast cancer, like how it affects Mike. It's like I can't even like think about how it affects him. And my parents and my friends, because it's like, when you watch movies, it's usually from that perspective, like, oh my God, the mom has breast cancer or something. And like to be the object of that grief is something that I can't even let myself like think about, because it's just so like, I am the one person that had this diagnosis, and the web of people that are like directly grieving that is like such a weight. And obviously like it's a huge different type of weight and grief. And like, that's why I think people say, like, feel comfortable saying that to you. Like, my dad had whatever, my dad had lung cancer or whatever. But it's so painful. Yeah. Because like it's one, a reminder of your mortality, and two, a reminder of how many people's like number one trauma is their loved one having cancer. So it's like it hurts me to think that all these people in my life, their number one trauma is what happened to me.
Right. And that your good days were their good days, and your bad days were their bad days.
Exactly. It's like it's so complicated, and like even sitting here right now, I'm like almost trying to like work out that thought process and like figure out exactly like what that means. But yeah, I think that was like the hardest part for me in a weird way. Is like I felt like every day I was protecting everyone around me from feeling that grief that I'm so familiar with from movies and books. And it's always like the cancer trope. And like you feel that from another point of view. And like once you're the object of it, it's like, holy shit. Like, right. Because, I'm the oldest sister. I'm the healer. I'm the people pleaser. I'm the glue guy. So it's hard for when all of a sudden your like dynamic in a group is to like is being the the one everyone's worried about. Yeah. It's like that was like the hardest part for me.
Well, it's amazing that you were able to identify that though, and say to the people in your life, like, I love you, I can't
I'm not the
this.
one. Yeah.
Like talk to each other.
Yeah. Like even one time my uncle was like, we were at my parents' house, and he was like, my mom walked out of the room and he's like, I'm so worried about your mom. Like, I know she's taking this really hard. And I'm like, what
does he want you to do about it?
I was like, you need to go talk to like my dad about that. Yeah. Cause like, why the fuck would you say that to me? Like, what about me?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm barely holding it together right now. Like, they just chopped my boobs off. But they look great, don't they?
Hell yeah, they do.
For the camera.
Love it. Yeah. What were some things that your friends did? Like, how did your friends actually show up for you in a way that was meaningful? Because I know firsthand, I have had friends get cancer. Yeah. And I always struggle with, how much is too much. Like, I want to, talk to them about, like, update them on what's going in my life, but I don't want to be insensitive,
Oh my God. Yeah. I have a lot of thoughts about that. My friends were the best. They really were. And I think that they showed up, the best way that they showed up was like by action. Mm-hmm. like, it's really hard when someone says, calls you or texts you and says, like, let me know if you need anything. It's like, well, I don't, it's hard for me to think about what I need, but I need so much right now. So the best was when they were just like, I made extra dinner. Do you guys want it? They would walk, because like we kind of live close to each other. Like I'll walk over and give you our leftovers. And now I don't have to think about what we're eating for dinner. Or like my mom would come over a lot and clean our apartment when we weren't there. Or like, like help, like actionable things to lift the burden off of me. And like making plans that were like a few weeks out, so I could say yes, but still have the option to pull out if I needed,
and have something to
look forward to. I'm very active in a group chat, like all day it's going, and there was days where I was not talking in it at all, and just no one would call me out for that. They would just let me kind of sit in that, or like, and send a text like 2 days later, be like, love you. I love you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the hardest thing, and like this is such a hard thing to navigate, right? Because it's really people reaching out to you and showing you love, but it's overwhelming sometimes. Like my aunt, I love her so much, but she would text me every morning and say, how are you? And I would have to recount how I am. And like, I don't want to think about how I am, because it was such like a hour to hour thing. Once I was sick for an hour and now I felt good. Like I didn't want to talk about the fact that I felt sick, so like it was almost like less questions, less open-ended conversations, more just like, I love you. I'm dropping off dinner in 10 minutes, kind of stuff like that, because communication honestly was overwhelming for me. The amount of texts I would get in a day, especially when I was going through treatment, was, that's amazing, right? Like people love you. They're texting you because they're worried about you, but it's such, like I said, it's a dark place, and like the constant communication and like the access people have to you now because of phones, I would just have to not answer. And I think like people being okay with texting me and not expecting an answer was something I was hoping for. Like the idea that they were okay with sending me a text to tell me like they were thinking about me or whatever, and they wouldn't be offended if I didn't answer, because they were meeting me where I was, which was not in a good place.
They weren't texting you for a response. They were texting you to express their love for you, and to be like, I'm here.
Yeah, exactly. Because it was hard. Like there was I have 21 cousins, I have 20 aunts and uncles or whatever, I have friends, like there was always so many people, like, just trying to connect with me, and in days where I literally wanted to just like hide in my bedroom and like not move. And like, it took me a while to be like, I don't need to answer. I don't need I saw the text and I love it and I remember it, and like I remember who didn't reach out to me. But like I can't have a conversation with you right now about what I'm going through, because I just need to like get through it. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, I think it absolutely does. Like even not to compare at all, like on the smallest level.
No, don't worry. You don't have to preface things like that. I feel bad when people say that.
No, but also it's more so people listening aren't like, Alanna, don't compare your little.
Oh, true. Yeah.
No, but like I get really I don't handle stress well. And on some days when I'm really stressed, like the first thing to go out the window is like my responsiveness to people over text. And then like the more I don't respond to people, the more it builds up, the more then I feel like anxious about having not responded. And then suddenly I have 70 texts to respond to, and I'm like, I want to throw my phone out the window and have it land avenues over in the East River and never see it again.
Way. Yeah.
So I can only imagine what that was like for you. You mentioned you remember who didn't reach out.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What about like the tier 2, tier 3 friends who like maybe, you would catch up with them once a quarter or twice a year for drinks, for dinner? What was your expectation in terms of like hearing from those people?
I feel like going into it all, I think I already had a understanding of the difference between a friend and someone just around me and like an acquaintance. And like, so I kind of like was already maturing and like understanding like how relationships develop in your late 20s
and who your real people
and
are.
who my real people are. So many people showed up that I didn't, like in my tier 2, tier 3. I mean, sorry, that didn't make sense what I just said. So many people showed up that I didn't expect to, that were in my tier 2, tier 3. Sending me flowers and texts and thinking of, and just like things that like, I won't forget. Like, and to be honest, there was only like 1 or 2 people that I was like, interesting. And like, you don't forget it.
Yeah.
You really don't. It's funny because I don't remember the frequency in which people did reach out to me for the most part, but I remember when I got out of it and realizing, wait, I never talked to that person one time. They didn't reach out one time. It's not too surprising, but it makes making your wedding guest list very easy.
Yeah.
Very easy. It actually, from my list, I only cut off 2 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
You know who your people are.
And like, it was funny because like some of my guy friends were like, well, you know, it's very heavy.
Yeah.
You know, he's probably just freaked out. And it's like a guy friend that I don't really, whatever. And I was like, you guys, but what I went through is so serious. Like, I don't have time for half friends anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. Like, I'm not, like, we're not friends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want him to be my friend.
There's no need for it.
Like, we're in a group, that's fine. But I feel like, and maybe it was because I was so public about it all. It was hard for people to not say anything. So there wasn't much disappointment, I will say.
Yeah. Why did you decide to share everything publicly?
So I shared on TikTok like a week after I found out, after I kind of like got my diagnosis and had some sort of plan in place. It like felt good and I was comfortable with communicating about it. And like I had told enough people in my life that I like that needed to know.
Yeah.
And I couldn't have the conversation anymore. It was hard because it was like I felt like I was comforting them every time because it was like so intense to tell people like, oh my God, so I have cancer. So I decided to share it mostly because the rates are rising in young women. It's really scary. Early detection is everything. Like if you get diagnosed with breast cancer early, the cure rate is like 98%.
Wow.
Like the science has gotten to a place where it's like boom, 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 boom. Yeah. And you know, when I found my lump, like I said, I didn't think there was any possibility in the world that it was cancer because I had never seen it. Like I didn't know that it was possible. You know, I thought that was for old ladies, breast cancer. I didn't have family history. Right. Only 15% of breast cancer patients have a family history, by the way. I didn't know that. I thought it would be like the other way.
Yeah. And you didn't have the BRCA gene mutation.
Nothing. Same thing. I think it's like same kind of percentage. Only like 15% of patients have the BRCA gene. So it's not like, you know, a gene hereditary thing necessarily. I think also another crazy statistic is only 10% of lung cancer patients are smokers.
Wow.
Something crazy like that. Don't quote me.
No, because and then it makes you question like, could I have done something differently to avoid?
I can't even think that world
like it's
anymore.
a whole rabbit hole.
Because I wasn't a processed food eater. I was very healthy and I was like everyone else. Right. To be honest. Like, you know, I drank.
You're just a girl.
I was just a girl. That's the worst part. Like, I'm still just a girl. So I decided to share because I'm like, if it could just help one person remember my face and remember my story in 10 years from now, 5 years from now, next month, they feel a lump and they're like, you know what? I remember that girl and it is possible. Yeah. I need to go get this checked and it's stage 1 and boom, 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 she's done. Rather than she waits a year and it's stage 4, which is incurable. But you can, I mean, again, science has come such a long way. You can live with stage 4 cancer for 30, 40 years nowadays, but it just means that they treat it like a chronic illness. That's why I needed to share it, because if I had waited longer, who knows what would have happened. Like I really had this urge to tell people, like, hello, this happened to me. I'm a normal girl. Like, I literally had I think we were going we had like a table downtown that night for someone's birthday. I couldn't go because I found out I had cancer. Like, I was, you know what I mean? Like, such a normal girl. And it happened to me out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And like that was so important to me, because I feel like, you have like this image of what people that get cancer might look like or live like, or their age or whoever, and it's like it doesn't discriminate.
Yeah.
And it's really scary, the rise in rates amongst women our age in this area. So they're, not to be scary, but it is scary. Real. The Northeast is rising at like a rate that's like unprecedented, and they're trying to figure out what it is. I mean, does it even really matter? Who knows? But like getting tested, like if you feel something, you need to get checked out. Like it's everything. Yeah. It's a difference between a year of hell and a lifetime of hell, of the rest of your life being hell. You know what I mean?
And having the rest of your life.
And exactly. Yeah. It's scary. It is life or death. Like it really is. And it's scary when you go, like, I was the youngest, hottest, coolest, most fashionable patient at the clinic. So it was like a weird place to be, like, oh my God, I'm with all these old people. Like they thought maybe my mom was the patient, not me. And then all of a sudden I'm the one getting the thing. But I don't know if it's just the times we live in, that we're so interconnected in social media, you see it more, but no, like statistically it's like becoming like way more prevalent.
Yeah. Well, thank you for everything you've shared.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, you also shared it all in such a realistic way.
Thank you.
You shared what was on your mind, even if it didn't make sense to you yet.
Yeah.
And, you didn't try and make it look glamorous.
Yeah.
Like, you were like, get ready with me to go get chemo. That's weird. Like, you were just very honest. And yeah. I appreciate that so much. And I'm sure not only has it already helped so many people, but I'm sure one of the first things that people do when they get a diagnosis like that is try and find other people to relate to.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, for years and years to come, all of that content is going to continue to help.
I think of it in two ways, right? Like, for the girls that are in my shoes that need someone to look at, that's like, oh my God, like I can get through it and life will be normal again. And also, like, planting a seed in everyone else's mind that for the future, for whatever, like, oh my God, it could be breast cancer. Like, I should take this seriously. You know what I mean?
Yeah. There are a lot of women listening to this, 20s, 30s. What do you want them to know?
I want them to know that if something bad happens to you, it doesn't define you. Like, that was something so crucial to me, is like, I don't want to lose myself in this terrible thing that happened to me. I don't want to be labeled as the survivor, the victim, you know what I mean?
The girl who had cancer.
The girl who had cancer. And I think that could be that could be applied to so many things that, like, we go through in life, and like things that happen to you. I wanted to be defined by like what I do, which I think coming out of the clouds is like being open about what happened to me and like sharing it and like being like a face of like this crazy thing, like young breast cancer, and positivity and like hope that you can get through that awful thing. It's going to change you. Like, there is no going back to the version of you that you were before the terrible thing. But you like have the power to like create your new you.
Yeah.
And I'm like so thankful for that. Like, I feel like it's so lame, but I feel like just such like a better person. Like, I feel like I understand myself more and what I want and how I want to treat others, and like just the way I navigate the world is just so different. It's like, oh my God, this is a gift. Every day is like a gift, you know? And like, I think I was, not that I was taking it for granted before, but like every other girl in their 20s, it's like, you know, whatever.
We're just floating.
We're just floating. Yeah. And I felt like that for a long time, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. I literally feel like I smell the roses every day.
That's incredible. Yeah. That's incredible. And it's incredible to go through everything you went through and not feel, you know, brought down by it.
Yeah.
Even though I'm sure so many times, so many days you still do.
Oh, yeah.
But to have this overarching theme of like, I'm going to live my life.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make the most of all of it is incredible.
Yeah.
And that's such a strong, brave, beautiful way to come out of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We didn't talk that much about your relationship.
Oh, okay.
But one of the number one questions that people ask and want to know about every guest who comes on in a relationship is, how did you know that Mike was your person?
Okay. So we met at work and we shared a desk and we were best friends. So, and like I was still with my like high school boyfriend at that time. I was so young. Like it was my first job out of college. And we were best friends. Like he was like my work husband kind of. And like after my ex-boyfriend and I broke up, one thing led to another and we started dating. And it was like, it felt so easy, right? Like we were best friends and then like we just became so much more and there was no looking back. And it was at that point, like because I was out of a long relationship, I wasn't really thinking about the future too much. Like I couldn't really, you know, like I was just like here and now. And then COVID happened and like not to bring up another like hospital situation, but I was on a skiing trip with my girlfriends like a year into us dating, maybe a year and a half. And I broke my leg in Colorado skiing. It was awful.
Big ouch.
Yeah, I was on a mountain I should not have been on. And he like flew out first flight that night to help me, to like stay with me in the hospital, to get me home because we were supposed to leave the next day. And I was like, you guys have to go home. Like, you're not going to switch your flights for me. So he stayed with me a bunch of more days out in Colorado and like helped me get home. And like, it was just, I felt so like protected by him. And so like, this is like my person that's like going to look out for me. Yeah. Like, he's not just like my buddy that I'm like, you know what I mean? Like we were in love, but like, I feel like we just, after that moment, I was like, oh, like you're like my like protector kind of, like you're going to be there for me always. And then obviously like the cancer shit is just that on a whole other scale. Yeah. But I think that was the first time I was like, oh, this isn't just kind of like
this guy
a fun thing,
really cares and is a partner and isn't just here for the fun, good times.
Right. And I feel like that's like the most crucial part of like taking the next step in your 20s with the difference between a guy that's your current boyfriend or your future husband.
Yeah.
And like, I think there was that flip where I was like, oh, he's not just my current boyfriend that I'm running around the city with at the Gem Saloon. He's my future husband.
Classic.
Yeah. I was like making out in the booth in the Gem Saloon. Like, I think this is my future husband. Like, I don't know, that feeling of like, oh my God, like, is this my future? You know what I mean? And I think after that, it was just full steam ahead.
Yeah. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing. And thank you for, again, like everything you've shared here today, everything you've shared on social media throughout this. Like, it's so much to process and so much to.
I hope that was digestible.
No, 100%. You're really, really good at taking this like really big thing and making it digestible. And I think that's just part of like, you know, like who you are.
Oh, thank you.
Last question. This is how we end every episode of Seeing Other People. What is the best piece of dating or relationship advice you've ever received or have to give?
Oh, well, my current favorite one is he your current boyfriend or your future husband?
Boom.
I love that. Like what? I think it's funny because like at our age, I think you start to understand why so many people's parents got divorced growing up. Because I'd be like, why is everyone's parents divorced? And I feel like I'm understanding it now because you're like, why are you guys getting married?
Yeah.
Not in a bad way, but it's like, are you like just together for 3 years and it's just you're almost 30, so it makes sense? Or like, are you actually
building a life
together? And like, I feel like you see that now and you're like, that's why the divorce rate's so high.
Yep.
So I think being like honest with yourself about the difference there is so huge.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I love that. Alanna, thank you so much.
Thank
Where
you.
can everybody find you? Where can they stay up to date with your journey?
My TikTok and my Instagram is just Alanna Vizzoni, and I am kind of out on Instagram. I don't like it there, but I love TikTok. I feel like when I post on Instagram, it's like I'm on a stage with a spotlight and like no one's laughing.
I think you're funny.
I'm laughing. No one's clapping. Like but TikTok, I feel like we're just like at the bar, like yucking it up.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find me there. And oh my God, this was so much fun. Like I missed podcasting.
It missed you.
Thank you. Thank you.